their funds, does it?
But
I'm going to leave it there because
it has put more money in their funds over the last 2 years.
Yes, they're going to need a lot more money just to cover the national insurance hike. But anyway.
In this video, Sadiq Khan's administration is dragged over the coals for a glaring lack of police funding, despite the Mayor's grand promises that a Labour government would magically fix everything. Watch as the Deputy Mayor for Policing attempts to dodge the tough questions with endless bureaucratic spin about talking to government, but the London Assembly isn't having it. They tear into the Mayor's record, demanding real investment in the core budget instead of empty words, pointing out that simply being disappointed in the budget doesn't put officers on the streets. Let's get straight into the clash.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you. We're on question 5 now, colleagues. This new community policing hub in Barnett, so where will it actually be situated and when will it be there as something that we can look at?
Well, we have a neighbourhood base in Golders Green already, so we'll start, it's there. But we are actively pursuing a new premises. We've had a couple of options which we're working through. We've identified a chief inspector who will lead the core of the response. The people are built. We're building the teams now. So the reality is, in its temporary form, it is already present. What we're going to be doing over the next couple of months is rotating out those people who are temporarily in the area to have substantially people posted. But that is a question of weeks rather than months and months.
Okay, how much money have you been given to do that?
So we've got a fund which is £18 million from government. It deals with both the history of responding over the last period to the events, and we have spent millions during the last 6 or 7 weeks alone. But the answer is 18 million. Chair,
and it
precision.
won't last 5 minutes. It really won't. And if it's not going into your core budget, all you're doing, and my sympathy, by the way, is with you, all you are doing are pinching more and more officers from anywhere you can find them, which is what you've been doing to try and fill up the safer neighbourhood teams as well. It just is unsustainable, Deputy Mayor. It's unsustainable. The police budget has got to be increased. You put £1 million into Loved and Wanted. I'd love and want some more police officers on our streets, please. I know £1 million is a drop in the ocean, but if you look at the amount of places that the Mayor sticks bits of money, it's absolutely fundamental we get more money into the police service.
Chair, I want to reiterate that we are fully supportive. We've been talking actively with government in them having more sustainable funding for this project. We know, moreover, as we've discussed many times in this committee, that we've been actively talking as well to government about the importance of making sure we have an uplift in funding, moreover, especially recognising us as a capital city. And we have seen an uplift from government over the last 2 years, but we continue to lobby because we fully agree that what is needed is sustainable long-term funding for the Metropolitan Police Service.
It's words at the moment. We actually need money in there. We're losing police officers. We're not being able to get them back. And talk about retention when you've got a poor Muslim girl being attacked, and I saw it on social media. When you look back to when we had the Black Lives Matter campaigns, I was talking to Cressida Dick at the time. She had to keep our black officers away from the front line because they were being abused for being there. How on earth can we get a police force that's reflective of all our different wonderful communities when they're attacked very often from their own communities when they're actually on the front line? That needs to be addressed. But more than anything, we need more money going into the police force. I mean, it could be that perhaps some of these community funds are rediverted to the actual police force because they're nice to haves. But when your fundamental basics aren't right and the basics of their budget is not right, it has to be dealt with as an emergency.
As I've previously said, we've done a lot of work to make sure that we're raising trust and confidence in the police in all communities. This is something that we've been actively doing and working with the police to do so. I think it's really important, as the Deputy Commissioner has said himself, policing is one part of this, but we must make sure that we're doing the other part of the work, which is preventative, community-driven, making sure that we have across all political spectrums. And Chair, you were at the meeting that the Commissioner and the Mayor pulled together, where we said how important it was that all spectrums of politicians hold values that are reflective of our brilliant city and reiterate those. I think on the point about making sure that we have funding across the piece, that's why that's so important, because we need to do that preventative work. As I've said previously, we continue to actively talk to government about having increased and sustainable funding for policing. That's something that we haven't shied away from. The Mayor has increased funding to policing.
These words.
He has ensured that now a quarter of funding comes from City Hall. However, we can't shy away from the fact that the majority of police funding comes nationally, and we haven't been, and that's why we've been backing the proposal to increase funding for the current proposal around the Community Security Trust. But we, moreover, have repeatedly said the need for NIC is there. We saw this weekend with the protest, there were 4,000 officers there, as well as supporting the football game that happened. We're all very aware, and I repeatedly talked to ministers and others about this need, and will continue to do so. You have my assurance.
You're repeatedly talking to them. We all remember when the Mayor said, "Oh my goodness, I want to be Mayor again with a Labour government, and everything in the world's going to be wonderful." Well, it's no good you just keep talking to them. We need an uplift in the actual core budget of the police.
Completely agree, and that's why we have seen an uplift of funding.
I'm still talking, not little bits of money here and there. We need their actual basic money put up, because they cannot sustain what they're doing now. They're pinching officers left, right and centre to deal with real issues where they are.
We have seen an increase of funding over the last two budgets, and we continue to do that. We've also seen a prioritisation that we fully agree with on neighbourhood policing, and we continue to talk to government about things like the community security project, but moreover what we need. And we're not going to stop or shy away from that. The Mayor was unequivocal in his disappointment to not get more after last budget, and he continues to push forcefully to make sure that we get the policing we deserve. The
Mayor being disappointed doesn't put more money in their funds, does it?
But it has put more money in their funds over the last 2 years.
Yes, they're going to need a lot more money just to cover the national insurance hike. But anyway, we're running short of time, and I won't stop going on about this, because until you get more money for the police service,
neither will we.
They will not be able to provide what we need.
Lobbied for more funding, and we will continue to.
I'm going on to the next.
That exchange tells you everything you need to know. For all the spin, Sadiq Khan's team has no real answers when cornered on the actual numbers. The police are severely underfunded, and yet the only solution offered from the Deputy Mayor is more talk and disappointment in a budget that will now be stretched even further by national insurance hikes. It is a damning indictment of an administration that cares more about optics than delivering core services to Londoners. Let us know what you think of this clash in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.